They grew up together in Boston.
That was
In Boston.
We're gonna get hate mail off of that accent.
Yeah,
we'll
take that out. I'm walking here.
No. Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List. Hopefully you're still not depressed from the Super Bowl results, depending on what fandom you were in.
Yep.
If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, get over it.
Or if you had money on teams and they only won by 3 and not 3.5, it is what it is.
It was a close one. But the other big thing with the Super Bowl is the commercials and trailers. This is kind of a big deal for a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
So we thought this is kind of almost a weird like pre-summer preview, I guess.
Kind of,
us.
yeah.
We don't really do that. We kind of go week to week. We're not going to give our thoughts on the movies quite yet. We'll save that for another time. I want to talk specifically about the trailers.
All right.
We looked at a list of them here. Let's just do speed round first and foremost.
Perfect.
We're going to list through them. I'll say love it, hate it, all right? So first things first, 65, loved it.
Awesome.
Creed 3, loved it.
Loved it.
Transformers Rise of the Beasts, loved it.
Ugh.
Super Mario Brothers, hated it.
Pumped. I'm so excited for this movie.
Indiana Jones, Dial of the Destiny, loved it. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3, loved it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Flash, loved the trailer, hate Ezra Miller.
100% on that point. The trailer looks awesome. Ezra Miller, not so much.
Scream 6, Fast 8, hate it.
Terrible.
Air, surprisingly loved it.
Loved it.
Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, hated it.
It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, so that's the lightning round of all the
Yeah.
trailers here. And again, I'm looking specifically at how the trailers looked and everything. So when I say Dungeons and Dragons, the one I hated it, like there's putting action in your trailer to try and draw people in, and then there's just I don't know what is going on right now.
Yeah.
It was too much.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and
What can I ask? What didn't you like about the Super Mario one?
I just don't like a lot of the voice casts here.
Okay.
I'm not on the whole hate Chris Pratt hate train. I'm not on that part. I still think he does some good work in other things. I just don't like him as Mario.
Yeah.
I will admit it was a little clever them doing like, oh, we're doing an actual commercial of the Super Mario plumbing like business that they do.
Yep.
I will admit that is clever. I'm not high on this movie, I guess, as everyone is.
Okay.
And part of it is because of the voice cast. I love Charlie Day. I don't know if I like him as Luigi.
Yeah.
I like Chris Pratt. I don't know if I like him as Mario.
Yeah. Jack Black as Bowser, though?
Okay, that I will give that I'll give props.
He sounds awesome.
Because when I watch these, everyone else is just doing their voice. They're not doing voice acting work. They're just talking.
Yeah.
Bowser is the only one where it's like, I couldn't tell that was Jack Black.
Yeah.
I can tell Seth Rogen's doing Donkey Kong. I can tell Chris Pratt is doing this weird Mario. It's not good. I could tell Charlie Day is just doing Charlie Day. Like,
Yep.
It feels
I
like
gotcha.
Jack Black was the only one who came to work on that day.
He earned that money.
He earned that, and he's always earned that. Jack Black has never been bad. But let's go a little bit more. So the point of trailers is to get people excited, want them to get into the movie and everything. What was the one that was the most exciting for you out of all these? What was your number one?
I think my number one was Air. Originally, I was thinking kind of the Super Mario, but I've been hyped for that for a while, and the trailer really didn't do anything that the other ones hadn't or made me feel any different. But Air, like just first off, seeing Ben Affleck and Matt Damon back together in like a 90s, 70s, 80s haircut, whatever.
It was 90s.
Like that just looked interesting. And the whole story of the Michael Jordan concept with Nike and the shoes and the Air Jordans was really exciting. I felt driven when I was watching it.
I feel 100% the same way. I would say, too, my most excited was Air. But I want to say part of that may be because with a lot of these other trailers, we had seen other clips before, so we kind of knew what to expect. I think this was one of the few that like premiered like we had heard Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were going to be working together again, but we hadn't really seen anything.
Yeah.
This was, I think, one of the first clips we had seen of this, and
Yeah.
it's got a really good stacked cast. The other thing I noticed with Air, glad to see Chris Tucker. He's making his annual 5-year appearance.
Yep.
We don't get a lot of Chris Tucker in this world. Let's appreciate it while we can.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's talk least excited. What was the one that made you go, I'm going to see this even less?
Fast and Furious. Fast 10 or 20 or whatever one they're on.
I'm not on 20 yet. Give it a few more years.
A few more years.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, again, same thing here. I haven't been interested in this franchise since maybe Fast 7, whatever one that was.
Yeah.
And every problem I have with it is it's almost like they know that I specifically, the reasons I hate this franchise, and they just specifically made this trailer to like make Nick hate it.
Yeah.
Like a couple things here. One, this trailer breaks the record for the number of times family is used. It's like you are not only like 2 of you are blood related at this point. I get it. Family is home is where the heart is. Whatever. I don't care. Like there's no stakes. Half the people at that table have been resurrected from the dead.
Yeah.
The other half are the people that killed them.
Yeah. True.
But the other thing is, I don't know if this was the director. I don't know if this was the trailer editor.
Yep.
Someone along the line here, you read the part I had in the outline.
Yeah.
At a moment in this trailer, you have Dominic saying respect. And that's the word he says. And then the next shot is shot after shot of close-up of women's behinds.
Yep. Shaken.
Yeah. Look, I get that that's part of this franchise. You cannot have someone say respect and then immediately follow up with that.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that, whoever edited, you need to take a step back in life. You need to reevaluate.
Yeah, because when I watched the trailer, I saw that, and they did kind of one of those. That's funny. Like
Race
chuckles.
for respect.
Yeah, there was
but. Like,
Yeah.
who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. It was but these trailers, like, don't get me wrong, I'll probably end up watching the movie, but it's not one that I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch it in a way of making fun of it as we're watching it. That's how I'm going to watch this movie.
Fast X, greatest comedy of 2023, I'm calling it.
Yes.
But overall, I would say the winner of Super Bowl ads this year, Ben Affleck, appearing not only in 2 movie trailers, but also that Dunkin's ad. I'd like to give an honorable mention to Serena Williams, who I believe started in at least 2 right away in the beginning there. Big ones that were like big movie references, too, and everything. Yeah. Kind of good to see Ben Affleck kind of back on his feet.
Yeah.
I'm most excited to see him and Matt Damon work together. I feel like when they work together, it's
because they're friends.
Yeah.
It's because they're friends.
Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let's take a quick moment here and talk about the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota. As we move into February, more and more blockbusters will be showing up on the marquee, so make sure you check out their website for showtimes and make sure you get there early so that way you get some good concessions. Also, be on the lookout for more Phantom events to show up here at the Marshall 6 Theater. Very exclusive, very different every time. So be sure to check out their website for showtimes and more.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
But let's move into the weekly preview. Really short here this week. Not a lot to cover, but that's because we got a really big one to come out here this weekend. Scares everyone away.
It does.
And I wouldn't want to compete against this movie either. But first things first, let's talk about Wednesday, February 15th. So this movie will already be out by the time this video comes out. Marlowe, coming to theaters, set in old-timey 1930 streets of Los Angeles. Liam Neeson plays a private detective named Marlowe, who is based on a book series from a Chicago author from around that time. A lesser-known detective, however, in the pulp culture realm. Have you ever watched the movie L.A. Confidential, but you want it to be more like Taken? Well, this is the movie for you.
Yeah. I'm excited for it because I like Liam Neeson. I know he's getting old, but this is a noir film, And the best part is the fight scenes. I think they showed 2 fight scenes, and it's literally him doing the exact same move in both. It's him like getting the pickup and then from a distance throwing him down on a chair or taking the chair and breaking it over their back.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I guess.
And like I was like, yeah, you can do that when you're even if you're a little older. Those are fairly simple stunts to coordinate. And yeah, he's kicking butt. And I think this movie is going to be all right because his voice is a great, almost narration detective, that style.
Not for a 1930s noir.
Yes,
you listen to Jack Nicholson in Chinatown and then follow it up with this trailer, and something feels off there.
It does, but I like his voice. I really
like his
enjoy
voice too. It's a good, threatening voice. But like a private detective is kind of supposed to be like just kind of telling the story, like not really knowing what's happening. Like,
yeah. But Johnny Dollar, he's the same thing. You know who Johnny Dollar is? It's a radio classic that I listen to all the time in my car. I love it.
I'm just saying, you go back and watch Chinatown and you think to yourself, you know what would be better? A heavy Irish accent here. I'm just saying. But no, I love Liam too, which is why I'm just gonna talk to Liam Neeson here directly, quick. Just a minute, Liam, baby, look, just retire, buddy. You've proven yourself. You were in Schindler's List, dude. You've done everything there is under the sun. You've done comedies. You've done action. You've done Oscar movies. You've done well in all of them. It's okay. You don't have to prove anything anymore, bud. I don't get why he chose detective here.
Another avenue,
I guess. Also coming out this weekend, premiering Friday, February 17th, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is the kickoff to Marvel Phase 5. We're on to 5.
the gauntlet.
5 is alive, as the one robot from the 80s said. This movie looks to take place pretty much almost entirely in the quantum realm.
Yep.
So it's going to get trippy here, folks.
I think it's going to be awesome. Also, Jonathan Majors, great, phenomenal actor. I first watched him in, or I should say first big thing that I watched him in was Lovecraft Country. Great series, very trippy, but it was awesome. And he's just been killing it now. He was in 2 trailers as well. He was in Creed 3 or is in Creed 3.
Yep.
And like he's probably going to be a main character for a couple Marvel films.
For those of you who don't know, he is going to be the big bad, supposedly, of this.
He's the new
phase.
Thanos.
Yeah, he's kind of taking the role of Thanos, as like he's got big plans here. But that kind of leads me to one of my next point. What are they going to have to reestablish with this movie? Because for most Marvel fans, our introduction to Jonathan Majors as kind of this character was in Loki.
Yep.
How much of Loki is going to carry over to this? I don't even really want to talk about what they did in Loki because I was fascinated about this with Doctor Strange 2 because that one was so connected to WandaVision. I was like, okay, how are you going to do this? How are you going to juggle this? How are you going to connect it to this show without making it a reference to this show, a reference that people who didn't see it are going to be lost on? And it's a tight line. I thought before they did it very well in Doctor Strange 2, they walked right up to that line. They basically like pretty much didn't acknowledge it, but in the same way kind of did.
Yeah.
Which is, it's complicated to explain, but I'm curious how much of that are they going to carry over from Loki, or what are they going to have to reestablish? What is the information we got from Loki that fans are going to need to know moving on here?
And yeah, it's going to be interesting because just the way that how it's going to, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's you have to reestablish the multiverse.
Yep.
And I guess Doctor Strange 2 kind of did that. It explained the multiverse, but it didn't explain how it came to be. But last thing I want to talk about with this movie, let's talk about MODOK. Fans have been wanting this character. He's kind of a weird character. And then he came out, and they even did the thing fans were like wanting. Like, hey, that character from the first one, he kind of got sucked into the quantum realm. What if he becomes MODOK?
Yeah.
They did exactly what the fans wanted. And then everyone was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
What are you doing? They're doing what you asked them to, guys. Like, I don't know what people expected from this. MODOK is a weird-looking character. Like,
And
that is a weird design.
when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is that what I... Oh, yep, that is what I thought I saw. Okay. Yeah, and, like, to be honest, I didn't know much about him before, and after seeing the trailer, it's like, oh, boy, okay. I see what's going on here.
Yeah. It's a weird-looking character. To me, this was a no-win situation for Marvel. There's no way they could have made him look right.
Yeah.
Now, it did look pretty weird with the head in there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully that was a rough cut. I'm praying it's going to look better in the theater.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, everyone's complaining. Everyone's like, oh, it looks terrible. What'd you expect?
Yep.
Have you seen MODOK? I got to put up a picture right here. Hey, we talk a lot about movies on this channel, but sometimes the ones we talk about aren't the most accessible. That's where the Marshall-Lyon County Library comes in handy. They have a great collection of physical media, as well as a couple of online services with many, many options for movies, TV shows, and documentaries. It's easy. Just get your own library card at the Marshall-Lyon County Library and gain access to their large variety of movies, TV shows, and of course, books. Also, be sure to check back every month as we here at Popcorn Bucket List make specific movie recommendations based on a monthly theme. This month, we're focusing on actors with a personal connection to Minnesota. So head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library for some of our favorites and check out the channel to get even more movie recommendations. And now, on with the show! Well, that is everything coming out this weekend. Let's talk about some things we have previously watched. It's time for number one recommends. I'm going to come up with the last kind of minute one.
All right.
I finally saw Poker Face on Peacock. This is a Rian Johnson produced, I want to say he directed at least one of the episodes, but it's a Rian Johnson produced show. Rian Johnson, obviously, he's known for directing Star Wars The Last Jedi, but more recently, the Knives Out movies. This is another mystery kind of thing, but it's kind of sort of a mystery per week kind of show.
Okay.
But the things that happened in the first episode are kind of following her throughout all of this. And if you like Knives Out, if you liked Glass Onion, a lot of the similar stuff here is happening here as far as the camera work, as far as like callbacks, kind of telling the story out of order. I thought the pacing was a little slow. I don't know if especially these first episodes needed to be an hour long. I think you could have gotten away with half-hour long episodes maybe, but I'm curious to see what else is coming from the show. But if you're a fan of Rian Johnson, I think you're going to be a fan of this show.
All right.
Ryan, what do you got? What are you thinking this week?
Well, this week I don't got much. I was pretty busy. I didn't get much time to watch anything. I caught up on Kunk. Awesome. Still love that show.
Did we ever find out, is that like a British phrase or a British word or something
No,
like that?
the actress plays Melanie Kunk, I think is her name.
Oh, so that's just her last name.
Yeah, that's the character's last name.
The character's last name. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just didn't know if that was like a British thing.
No,
Like that.
it could be.
Shows how worldly I am.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't know.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. If you have any of your own movie recommendations, be sure to let us know in the comments down below of the YouTube video. And for myself and Ryan Meyerberg, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.